All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for, let's see, May 11th, 2023. Start with swing portfolio, 30 minutes. This is hybrid swing trading, as usual. Old reliable Alcoa. This is 30 minutes. Red boxes are standard risk. Red dots buying, green dots, or selling, green dots buying. The line in the middle is the moving 10-period regression line. It is color-coded to reflect the season of the MACD histogram, so you can tell everything about price you need to know in one shot. The metals are continuing to sell off. Yesterday we closed this trade. Didn't want to hold the overnight risk. It resumed with a collapsing dragon. We cashed near the end of the day for +1. No overnight risk. AI. So started this one today after a really nice 2-position 3-day trade. This thing rolled over today and started to fail. So we took like a hybrid frog entry, standard risk. It sold off hard, then recovered right to the edge of the dragon, so we just took that little piece. That's about a 0.3. That's a no-lose plus dinner for 2. It continued to do really well, and I looked at this as a Kata 2. So I'm betting on that one for the long side for tomorrow. I wanted to get a position in, and with standard risk. So that one is an overnight risk. Caterpillar, this one got smoked. We had the like an afternoon hook and it broke through the PSAR, so I took that one with a standard risk. Today it gapped down to here, so we ended up with -2 on that one. The revenge trade, I'm just betting on this one again for tomorrow. It's at the support level, where it's made nice runs, and I love the company, and just take that one in stride. It's flat going into the close. Overnight risk on that one. This is Cliff. So we closed the position yesterday. No trade on it today. CVS initiated the collapsing dragon short today. It's below that crucial level. So we're short, standard risk, holding +1 into tomorrow. See a good chance for it to come test the 30-day low tomorrow. If it does, I'll add a second position on the failure. It's poised in this really tight MACD right here, and so if that breaks, that could be another one of these big legs down. So we shall see. Dish Network, no trade. Devon Energy, no trade. Electronic Arts, this was a short that we took yesterday and didn't want the overnight risk. It closed really well in the last minute with this, and then today it gapped up to here. So held my nose and bought it. It ran all the way up. I stayed longer than I probably should have or could have. 0.5. I was hoping to see some of this. Never got it. I liked the fact that it got above that R10 peak, and so I wanted to give it, with this little burst, I wanted to give it as much chance as I could, but still preserve 0.5. So 0.5. Emerging markets. Boy, this one is like a Kata 2, and it closed here, big gap down, and then gave a 1, 2, 3 entry, and was the strongest performing index at the time, so standard risk. It closed very well, and we're holding +2, and I think it's got a good chance to get to here to 39.20 tomorrow. That's where I will add a second position, aiming for these two resistance levels tomorrow. I like it. Ethereum continues to sell off. It's at a support level, so I'll be ready for that on the long side tomorrow. That's where the last little burst hit. This one was complex today. So yesterday and the 2 days ago, we had this uh, 3 position long and exited, and then it resumed. So I bought one. Today, it gave me -1 and then sold off harshly, held support. I just bought the 1, 2, 3 entry back on, cashed one to negate this one, sort of the revenge trade. Don't do that at home. But I'll be ready for this to continue tomorrow. I treated that as a Kata 2, but I wanted to get to 0 on it for today, just to clear the books. I like to go home with no blood on my hands. Brazil started off really well. It was a 1, 2, 3 entry, standard risk, holding +2. Intel, the slide in the chips, especially Intel, continues. It's now below this key support level, so it was a gap down, sold off. It never really panic sold though, and so I was just happy to get +1 and no overnight risk. Had some other losses to offset. No trade in international paper or in in real estate. We had to close, so we had a little micro gain and then it resumed. So I bought this and it closed well, but it gapped down for -2 and then got punked the rest of the day. So nothing. Regional banks, the long slide. After 2 days ago, we got this long, and then yesterday we initiated here after that scratch, and the slide continued today. And this thing is just quietly given us +2, and I think I will add another one if it continues to slide like that tomorrow. Kind of a stealth short. McDonald's tried the yesterday. We got this kind of like a afternoon hook, and it closed really well. But today it gapped to here and then started selling off harsh. So we captured about 0.3 and then no trade as it just kind of went sideways. I like the fact longer term that it's holding support at this level, so we may actually see some movement tomorrow. But if that collapses, say below the 10-day low, then I might be tempted. I would think that if we get selling tomorrow, there'll be other better shorts than McDonald's. So took a -1 on Merck on the reverse gap. Marijuana, this one was sweet. We got the gap down, and so just shorted it. Was targeting this support level. It got there. I considered a second position, didn't, and just wanted to cash some wins today to offset some of those adverse gap losses. So this is still in Godzilla territory, but that's about 5R, and that'll pay for a lot of other blunders. Clean energy, no trade. I like the fact that it is finding support in this quiet channel right here, and that would be a Kata 2 tomorrow if we can get some traction. And then if I can get a long inside this region, then I'd be adding a second position north, but I will go short here if that collapses, targeting this, and if that collapses, I'll put a second position on targeting that. So critical state, standard risk. Rivian, this was that, I don't know, about 9 or 10R gift, and then I was frozen like a bird staring at a snake. Finally, on the collapsing dragon, Kata 2, got short here with the standard risk, and it closed at +2, and I think there's more on the downside there. Treasuries got the second position in, so we finally, yesterday, were able to get the gap and go, and it closed well, and today it gapped up here. I thought really hard about taking that exit, but the market was getting weaker and weaker, and this started to reverse, and so I'm betting on more equity weakness tomorrow and going to go for a second position on treasuries. We're holding 1, 2, +3 from the first position, so we got a little bit of markets money to play with. This is a summer, fall, and now if we can get summer, then this thing could go up to 106.75 tomorrow, and then I'll be looking to harvest up in that region. Tesla. Next, just yesterday we initiated the COTA 2. We got the gift trade from 3 days ago. Got that one, and then yesterday initiated this one back at a price similar to this one, and today it got some traction and closed pretty well, and that's holding about +1, and it was one of the stronger stocks in the list. And then U.S. Steel. Let's see where we are on this one. Oh, yeah. So this is another complex one. So we got short yesterday and cashed the intraday trade, and then it was closing well, so we tried this one long, and then that gapped down, and we took a 1 to about a -2. And then this was the revenge trade to get one of them back. So we netted -1 on that whole shooting match. And I'll be ready for that to move hard tomorrow, because all the metals got smashed today. And they're at crucial support levels near 10-day lows. So that's the swing update. All things bright and beautiful. Let's go to sniper trade of the day. So now we're looking at Intel. This was the mover today. 3-minute chart. That nice strong close gapped all the way down to here. Rose up, sold off, and finished here. So that establishes the OR3 right there. In which case, I'm ready to go long from here and ready to go short from there, and that's what we got. So, and we put the standard risk box on it, so we are short, and we've cleared all resistance from before. So this does have a chance to fail big. It immediately versus higher, so we take the half-hour loss. It's supposed to fail right away, darn it. So I'm ready to go long if it goes here. It fails immediately again, so I just put the same position right back on. Second position on the R10 wiggle. That's sort of the continuation trade right there. When this is enough non-failing price action so that instead of this continuing down, it just hooks up a little bit, but then when the price starts to fail, the R10 rolls over, and that's what we call the R10 wiggle, and that gets me a second position, and it sold off and then started to recover. I didn't want the second position losing money, so the second position scratched. The first position gives us +2. You'll notice that was also a 2-hour battle drill standard entry there. And by the time of this exit, notice that the harsh winter is over and it's coming to join the Red River and get back to something like normal. So this was supposed to fail big time, but it did not. It rolls over again. It cannot get through the dragon. The R10 turns to spring, but then starts to collapse again, and it's south of the river and failing, so that gives us a second, or a re-entry, I should say. Check or hold. That gives us a fraction. I take the COTA 2. I didn't take the SSC because this was the worst performer in the whole stack, and the other semis were bad. Tech was bad in the morning. So I waited for the COTA 2. It's a COTA 2 because we have harsh winter, the SSC, which could have made a winning trade. And then we get a higher low. And then another RLXD and PSAR flip. So we're long from there. And we have our standard risk. Not working. Wake up, Intel. So failure to follow through. And the primary trend was down, so it just stopped and reversed at the PSAR flip. It gives me about a 1R. I take the stop and reverse. Gives about 1R, and that's just about all there was. Just after that first little piece of joy. So this was minus 0.5. This one was 1, 2. 0.5. Scratch. 1. A half. So that's 1.5. Those two scratch. So total 3.5 for the day. 2 plus 1.5. So 3.5. There just wasn't much happening in there. All right, traders, let's see how they did. My brother, standard work. He put the, he only had time for the one trade, so he didn't get his standard 1R, 2R battle drill. As soon as he puts that on, he knows where he's going to add his second position, but he was getting ready to go to work, so didn't take it. Had his stop in, makes 1.2. Tyson Foods, which is a continuation of our Godzilla. That's why you care about the Godzilla. So he gets the PSAR flip. This bar closes, so he gets his entry. Adds a second position. It rolls over, so he exits. Gets 3R on those two. Waits for the standard entry when it breaks above the peak of the R10. 2R battle drill, it rolls over, standard exit for another 2. Sideways quiet channel, notice this, the Bollinger Band pinch. This is favorable though, notice the RL270 is continuing to chug north, so without hesitation, look how tightly that pinched. So he gets the Z3 pinch breakout and after the PSAR flip. It doesn't get up to his 2R, so he takes a fractional. And then it does not fail further, so he re-enters and gets his 1, and he brings home 8 in the usual way. Nice. Eugene crushed it today. This is, he's in Tyson as well. The Godzilla. OR3 gets paid. Kata 2 re-entry gets paid. Notice he's got his no lose plus dinner for 2 identified. Takes his entry, or I'm sorry, takes his exit, and then he stops and reverses. Fractional loss, half an hour. Net 1.5. Professional. Working PayPal, that was a Godzilla from a couple days ago. It continues to be in play. Quick exit. Kata 2 entry, second position scratches, but he makes bank. Quick exit, net 1. NVIDIA, let's see where we at. Just to notice some things, PSAR flips. You should get in the habit of just looking at the PSAR flips and understanding how long it stays in those trends the way we use the PSAR. And that'll give you a sense of the duration of trends. Net 1. Let's see, Mullen. There's your PSAR flip after a morning hook. Let's see. Yeah, I think he was trying to get short. I realized he got on the wrong side of it, so he scratches, then gets the correct short in, covers. This Z3 pinch, you'd have had to have been right on it to get anything on it. But 0.7 could work. This is Peter. He reran his live trades with the bar-by-bar simulation to get a better feel for that. 2R quick scratch, PSAR 2R battle drill quick exit. Tries the short quick cut. Could have re-entered there, but that would have made this a scratch instead of a 0.5 loss, and then gets paid on the Z3. Notice the Z3 pinch breakdown, and 1.9 on the second go round. Brian. There is a gap down and go. There's an OR3. PSAR flip. I like it. I like the stop and reverse. There just wasn't anything in this one on the 1 minutes. Yeah, I like trying that one. It failed to fail. It's in the summer. That's a place where if it's going to go, it should go. There just wasn't any traction on the 1 minutes on the DIA. I understand doing the 1 minutes because that'll give you more reaction, or practicing with shorter time improves your speed of reaction. So I would say try some on the 3 minute too, so you get a feel for that slower time frame. Red on the Japanese yen futures gets the PSAR flip, gets paid 0.5, and then learns a valuable lesson about what happens after Z3 pinches and why you take them. And then if you cover here and it rejects, Hulk smash. And then there's this one. Z3 pinch breakouts, take them. He does get this one. This is the Swiss franc, also even more pronounced. So I like that one. When that doesn't work, yeah, that's a good exit. That's where I'd be short. And then you get this one. You get paid a little bit there. This one would have lost a fraction. This one would have gained a fraction. After a long, slow ride to the top, then the Z3 pinch. This is a case of fake one and just cover. I would have probably tried that one and then had to scratch and then tried short again off the same price collapse. And then this one would have paid for that one. Euro futures, Euro FX futures, PSAR flip, Hulk smash. I mean, this is the currencies. I mean, Jesus. Gee whiz. And just that trade is 2. So if you said that's probably 3, 1, half, 1, there may have been another 6R in there. Boy, is that ever orderly, though, huh? This is Constantine. This was the previous day's low. And now from the New York session. Now this one runs up to the previous day's low, comes down, gets a PSAR flip, gets a risk box off that peak, standard short, standard cover at the PSAR flip for 2.7. There was even an SSC and a COTA 2 available and another COTA 2 available. 4.3 in his usual way on the collapsing dragon, with gold versus the U.S. on the threes. Collapsing dragon, Hulk smash. Second position is called for. Exits here in the usual way. That was even tradable, and so was that. But 4.3. Constantine, if you're within the sound of my voice at some point, it's about time for a histogram update and an update on how you're doing with the prop trading. We'd like to hear if you get a chance. Collapsing dragon for Agnieszka. Hulk smash. Second position after the little R10 wiggle. Third position. PSAR. Look at that PSAR, fellas. R. Beautifus Maximus. Beauteous Maximus. All right, let's see here. This looks like Hamad. We're going to learn about the frog box after the open and a normal entry here, or at the Z3 breakout, or at the R10 wiggle breakdown, and then cashing that here instead of waiting for this to get short after watching a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5R move, then getting short after it got sideways for about 10 bars. But then it starts to recollapse, so I don't mind that. But let's get this. Let's be ready to trade that. I love the stop and reverse. The second position, quick exit, re-entry, cut. Now we're trying a little too hard. But this pays for a lot. And let's see. That 5 will erase all of that pain and suffering. This is trying too hard. Better job on the Qs. Let's try and make those a little smaller so we can pinpoint where is that happening. Let's try to get tighter circles so we can see what's going on here. When that rolls over and crosses, that's your RLXD and that's your PSAR flip. That's kind of the entry we want. This is the entry we want, not here. That one's correct. I like this one, and that's a great scratch. Brazil on the threes. Yeah, Brazil will often pay you when nothing else will. This COTA 2 could happen as early as this. If this gets you out, then that has to get you in. That's a great exit. I like that. I like the quick cut. I love that. And I love the 1-2 exit. Now, this is what we call the dragon horns. You can see it because he's got his Z3 lines on here. So when you get that kind of asymptotic move and it's so powerful, notice that it came up all the way out of the Z3, opened and then sold off, and it almost looks like the two tall ears of a dragon And there's his fangs ready to eat you alive. And there's his long body. So when we see that and there's no follow through, we call that the dragon horns, and be ready because he's hungry and ready to get you. So I just absolutely love that exit. And this little PSAR flip, beautiful. And look at, there's almost another dragon horn formation. Man, that's nice. You know, on trade 3, let's see, where's 1, 2, 3. Now, that's pretty good. I mean, were you really going to get much of an improvement by getting out here rather than there? I think you're all right on that.
And back up, what that was, the exit he's talking about is the red circle just under the box. Where it's like a 1, 2, 3.
Well, that's
4,
T.
5,
Yeah,
6
but that's
exit.
T2. Yeah, but that's trade 2.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's trade 1. That's trade 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And that's trade 3. This one, if you said, hey, I got really close to Z3 and maybe there's a 1, 2, 3 exit, you might have gotten that one. I could agree. Waiting for the PSAR, I think, is fine. And I don't know that there's much improvement right there that you could get.
I don't think so either. No.
I think that's just one you take.
That's just taking a shot.
You just eat the toad. Eat a live toad first thing every morning. The rest of the day will be better. All right, Peter. So this was the difference between calm and replay and building skills. It's a difference between minus 0.2 and plus 2. So go back and study the other one and get that correct, and just consign this one to the dustbin of history. And compare your notes on your mindset. Yeah. This is Eugene. Some more work here. Net 3. And so now he's playing Dutch Brothers on the 3. Tries this one. It's not there, so he cuts it. Second position and cover. Stop and reverse. Gets plus 1s for net 3. Muy bueno. Net 1.5 on Tyson. I think we've seen that one. And my brother has some. Let's see.
So,
all right.
I just wanted to show what the new thing that I'm developing with Trader X.
Yep.
This is when I'm trying to front run the PSAR flip just a little bit, or know when it's going to happen a little bit sooner than the actual flip, which is really hard to do.
Yeah,
just want to
because
point
price
out that
comes through here.
Yep.
You typically are waiting for that close. Then this is the bar on this close. This is your action bar, and so if you can get that entry, you're okay. But you end up giving up
a little bit.
A little.
But, you know.
And if we notice that it comes out of the Red River here, we might be able to get into this one here. Now, just for other folks, something that I have tried to do is I like to follow price, or I like to follow the RL10 as it comes up. This is where it breaks out. So you might have gotten this, or you might have gotten this as you're waiting for the close. I sometimes will do this where I just take 1 or 2 dots back, and I'll just draw that line there and say, you know what, while I'm waiting for the RL10 to reverse, if price really just starts running, I like to go back 2 bars, and if it takes out that level, I'll just hold my nose and enter here.
Mm-hmm.
Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. So the next, well, I don't disagree with that. I'm trying to find something.
Yep.
Because this is for traders that aren't.
Yeah, and you're talking. Yeah, and you're talking. Yeah, those are 3-day and 9-day bars. Anyway, so there's plenty of time to be deliberate. And when you get those moves on the 3-day and the 9-day, especially after a great big sell-off like that, that little fractional piece you lose here is nothing compared to what the indicated
Yeah.
return. Even if you only
Almost.
get halfway, that size gain dwarfs any kind of inefficiencies that you get inside here. So yeah,
Yeah, all I'm trying to do in this one is so I got in at 83 with a 1/3 position just to,
yeah,
try to pay for a little bit of
yeah. This one right here,
the
and
other
then
stuff. Yeah.
follow through with this.
Well, those are just the indicators of what I'm
Oh,
doing,
okay, got it.
and the arrows are pointing to the normal sniper RLXDs.
Yeah.
That green is the 3-day actual buy. So I bought that
This
on the
one here.
three
Yeah,
day.
yeah. Oh,
And
got
what
it.
I'm doing down here is I'm waiting for the 9-day to cross in the Williams percent. Once that crosses, that's going to signal my PSAR flip,
Yeah, got it.
right? And then the MACD, once that breaks, it's almost broken out of the river. So that it's like the staging lights of a drag race.
Yeah,
You'll get those bottom two, and
yeah.
then
You get the doink,
then you're
doink,
then you're off
doink,
and going.
doink, doink. Go,
Go.
boys. With it.
But I just wanted to point out when you look at this 9-day chart, don't forget we're looking back a year and a half.
Yeah. So that
I
yeah,
think
that really is a long
yeah,
term buy and hold.
yep.
Yep.
So
With it.
that's why I'm not front running on the 3-day so much
Yep.
because
No hurry.
yeah, no hurry.
Those guys are not running. They are moving with all deliberate haste.
Yep. So
And when they
that's
come
just
in, it's decisive. Yeah.
yep, that's a little foreshadowing of my 3-9 system.
Hey, I got 70 pages written this morning.
Awesome.
It's really shaping up nicely.
By the end of the weekend, I'd love to have something
Yep.
just to
Easy.
show those guys.
Yep.
Okay.
It's easy. Yep. I got all the hard stuff is done.
Okay.
Now it's just collecting and I'm going through I'm doing a lot of the pre-editing now with the new version of Word has a pretty nice AI editor and grammar recommender, and that's cleaning up kind of a standard
Okay. Do
format.
you still want me to run it through Grammarly or no?
It's pretty good, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, you can do
Okay.
what you want, but it's pretty good.
Okay. Hey, it's your voice. Whatever you want, man.
Yep. All right, so let's go to the daily report. So we're still kind of locked into this. The longer this goes, you say, man, that's becoming a critical state. When is it going to break to the upside? And if it doesn't, does it mean we're going to come test the conviction down here? The longer it waits, the more troublesome I think it is. The only positive thing is you got sort of a upward kata twos happening but to this triangle, whereas these were decisive sell-offs. The fact that it has not decisively sold off is a statement in its favor, but you still got this. You got this wedge coming. And look how tight that daily bar is. So that thing is gonna. I think it breaks tomorrow on a Friday. We're going to see what kind of risk people are willing to take overnight. So I'm expecting a lot of stops to get run tomorrow. And then
Yeah, this is guys blinking. Who's going to blink first?
That's right. Yeah, I will be watching from the side. Yeah, so we have another small day today after yesterday's big range. Small range, and again, that's what makes this thing very interesting for tomorrow. Is this? There's large moves in either direction indicated, and we're just hovering at the bottom of the Red River. So this is where momentum to the upside is decaying, and that's why you had a lot of powerful momentum in here that took it up to here, but then it couldn't hold, and so that is coming back through the Red River and now testing the bottom, which is the loss of conviction right near the zero line. And it doesn't take much to tip that into winter. And then if that breaks below here tomorrow, watch for a run to back to 404. So this one to me looks very interesting. What is going on here tomorrow? Let's see, the 30-day, and again you can see the You can see just how tightly, 30 minute, I should say. You can see just how tightly the last 5 days have compressed in here. It's been locked into this between the 10-day high and the 10-day low. It's just riding that middle line. And I'm ready to go in either direction. Let's just go. And like for the S&P, on the 30 minute, it actually closed in the summer. So I'm actually ready to put a risk box on it like that, which is about $1, and ready to go hard in either direction. Add a second position here, third position there, fourth position there if it starts collapsing. Second position here, third position there.
I gotta tell you, I'm looking at my new Williams thing that I'm working on with Mr. X.
Yep.
And the mouth is opening on the Williams percent R in my two indicators, my two new ones.
Yep.
I think it's going up. Just
I'm
and
following.
It's almost ready to break out.
I'm following price.
Okay.
As you walk into the lion's den, I'll be behind you every step of the way.
Just with my shield up and my spear ready to do the cleanup there, brother. You just stick your head out first.
Yep.
Well, that's why we're
bullish
a good team, brother.
Bullish, quiet, stabilizing. Risk is off. Be cautious for tomorrow. 1 day shenanigans tomorrow. All of the usual suspects are dominating. Walmart, Microsoft, Coke, McDonald's. I mean, that's telling you. Intel getting smashed along with the regional banks. That's what you need to know there. Pain and suffering today in the large caps. Disney. Pfizer. And
they usually don't
Mobil.
get smacked too bad.
Well, there's no more COVID baked into the cake for them, so. And don't be surprised to see people trying to claw that back. The Qs were strong. And Brazil was strong. This is the anomaly because the Qs were strong, but the semis all got smoked, especially Intel. So Intel, always curious what's going on with that one. Auto Framer, lots of swing trade 1 day at a time opportunities there based on a test of back to the 10-day high. Perfect set of candidates. A lot of energy companies in there. Lots of squeezes today, including the S&P and the Qs. We'll look at the Godzilla. Okay, so again, just the way you read this chart. These are the Godzillas for the S&P 500 over here, and we're looking for extreme location in 2 time frames. The 150-day, which is this W column. So you notice every one of those is less than 0.1. So it's in the, if you scored the 150-day high and the 150-day low and scored that 0 and 1.0, it looks for extreme conditions down here in the bottom 10%, which would be 0.1 and below. And you'll see that all of those are between 0.1 and 0. And then the same thing for the medium or the 30-day look back. Now, on the short term, which is the T, that's the 10-day, the tactical. Any score on there is fine, but I actually prefer it if there are things like in Dish Network, it's like a triple. Now, you don't have to have all 3 below 0.1. It's just a bonus. So NTRS is really horrible looking. WBA is horrible. Yeah.
LDOS.
Yep.
0.
Hard to get worse than that.
Look that up right now.
Yeah, that 0.1's probably rounding error. Then the next thing that you look at is, now I want to see extreme volatility, but it really is 2 different things, right? If we took a look at the bell curve of volatility, and we went plus or minus 1 z-score, then and then if we said volatility is increasing going this way, what I mean by extreme volatility is it's extremely volatile already, in which case it has z-scores greater than 1, or it could be abnormally volatile, quiet, abnormally unvolatile. That's what I'm looking for, is an extreme condition in volatility. So if it's less than, I actually go less than 0 because it's really hard to get minus 1. So these are all the quiet Godzillas. See, in that whole stack, none of them are less than a full standard deviation. So I basically just take anything less than normal volatility, I'm taking as extreme, plus extreme volatility already in place. I see anything that's less than the average is kind of quiet, creeping in. The only things that get ruled out for me in this model then is volatility that's in between z-score of 0 and plus 1. So I don't take any of those because that feels like normal, just normal 5-day volatility. So this is what I mean by the extreme. And then the Z1 is simply just an extra indicator that's of interest. And then what I look for is, oh, here's one where he's Godzilla for sure, and he's been very, very quiet on the 5-day, but already started making a big 1-day move. So that could have been a Godzilla that sells off.
Yep, that's what it was.
And then had extreme 5 days with hardly any volatility, and today may have been one big day starting this way or one big day starting that way. And given his numbers, it was probably that. So what that says is this is the pause that refreshes, and they're not done selling off because it just started again. That makes that one very, very interesting. And then you can, if you're doing swing trading, you got your position sizing. If you're doing intraday, you got 1/10 of that with the R10. And again, you can see that it's 1/10. This is 1/10 of that. I'll tell you, from that table alone, there's a dozen tradable ideas if you know what you're looking for. Yep. And now you know what I'm looking for. So by the same token on this one, I'm looking for 1-day movers. And so if I get a double volatility, that's always good. Now see how strong this guy is, and then see how weak this guy is. He's still moving hard, and he's mostly sold off, whereas this guy is a relative strength guy that's moving hard. So the abnormal volatility, whether it's super quiet or super noisy, I like to see. So this one sorts just on the basis of 1-day movers. So it looks at the z-score of today's range and then sorts it by z-score. This one looks at the most quiet in the S&P. These are the ones where for 5 days and 1 day is coming into the station and hasn't moved yet. So you kind of like to see the absolute disregard from the traders are nowhere near that. Okay, well that's interesting. Here's a guy, MD2. Look how easy this is. Here's a guy that is in the upper 20% of his longer term, but has had a recent sell-off on his 10-day, but is extremely quiet. That means all of that panic is over because it's stabilized. So what's that look like? It looks like a thing that is doing really good, had a sharp sell-off, and now is very, very quiet. It means it stopped failing. It's not doing that. So what's left? This? Maybe? And if it gets through there, double position. That's how you do that. That's what buying on dips means. Now, under the most volatile, I'm looking at the Z5 score, and there's our two Godzillas crushing it, and TSN is best because it is the most volatile in the S&P over the last 5 days by Z-score, and it's still enraged. So that's a no-brainer. TPR's another big mover. He's not a Godzilla, but that's a relative strength leader. So that's how you do that. And then STE is a relative strength winner. who is also very volatile. So those three immediately jump out at me. Standard work on the auto framer and on the Four Seasons and on the multi time frame NDX. I do want to point out on the trading value list that marijuana, that one I've been crushing in the swing, just moved to the top of the list, displacing Tesla, because marijuana is now moving 5.5% a day. I mean,
Wow.
there you are. And Nvidia is only moving half of that, but its reliability is so high that its fraud quality number is unheard of. And then Mexico, not as volatile, but its discipline is so good. Fraud quality number of 4.3. Holy smokes. So that's how you look at that. All right, that's everything we got. We'll get this published and posted, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, Greg, I'm probably going to be doing a live trade on Tuesday. I just need more time to prep. That's all.
All right, fellas, that's all we got. Manana.
Ciao for now.